Oh. It's showing this one, right? Okay, cool. I think.
So I just press that word now.
Oh yeah, good point. I have yes. Okay, and then of course, there's this thing here if you want to see anything coming. Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Cool.
thank you. Hi, everyone. Okay, we're just going to give a couple more minutes to wait for more people to join before we officially start our session. So in the meantime, feel free to make yourselves comfortable, grab yourselves a drink or a snack, and then we can begin shortly. Okay, just a reminder, if you guys have any questions at all throughout the webinar, feel free to pop them in the chat, and then I will reply them as soon as I can. Can you guys hear me? Okay, great. Okay, it's 5:05. I think we can begin. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm just having more people join in a couple of seconds, then we can begin. Hi. Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to our Monday weekly forecast as we talk about the key fundamental news events to expect for the week ahead, along with their technical setups. So we'll be highlighting key news events, central bank notes, and key support and resistance levels to watch out for. So disclaimer as usual, this webinar is purely educational and nothing in this webinar should be construed as investment or trading advice. So do your own due diligence before trading. Okay, this is the team that will be taking you through your webinars. We have Desmond, who's our CEO and Chief Trader, along with Cassandra, myself, and Joanne as the firm's prop traders and investment analysts. So if you guys have any questions throughout the webinar, feel free to send them in right away through the chat so that I can address them as soon as possible. If you guys have any requests for any charts, feel free to pop that in the chat as well. Okay, this webinar is brought to you by Everest Fortune Group in collaboration with Vantage Markets. We're an award-winning research firm and finalist in 2019, 2020, and 2021 for Best FX and Equity Research. So we work with the major financial institutions to help them forecast where the markets are heading. And now we have a special partnership with Vantage Markets where we're bringing you guys the good stuff every day. Okay, let's begin. So what happened in our Asia session? So most currencies traded in a consolidation, apart from the Kiwi dollar, which traded higher on the back of higher than expected inflation data. So what does this mean for Europe and US sessions? With no major news events today, price for most major currencies is likely to continue trading in consolidation. With the DXY trading at the 107.6 level, there could be some brief downside move before potential longer-term move higher. Okay, let's start with our currencies. So first we have the dollar index. So there were no major news events. And what can we expect? So as the market reacts to the comments from the Federal Reserve, Bullard and Waller, the DXY is likely to continue on the current retrace towards the 107.3 support level. Look for a possible rebound from the support level back towards the 108.5 level if expectations for a more aggressive rate increase continue to develop. So for central bank notes, forecasting 75 basis points hike at next meeting with a possibility of 100 basis points. Next meeting will be on 26th July, and the balance sheet reduction plan to continue at 60 billion in treasuries and 35 billion in MBX over a 3-month timeframe. Okay, let me just check to see if we have any questions. Then we can begin on our on analyzing our charts. Okay, all good. So we can start analyzing our charts. So first we have DXY. Okay, here we go. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, awesome. Okay, can you guys tell me in the chat, do you guys think this is an uptrend, downtrend, or is it moving sideways? Okay. Okay, yeah. So I think we can all agree that this is an uptrend. So I'm just gonna draw my channel. Okay, so just to recap. So for a valid trend channel, you want to make sure that it touches two valid significant swing lows and significant swing highs, which is what we have over here. And we can see that price recently broke our ascending trend channel. So it gives us a bearish bias that price will continue to drop. Okay, so now that we have our general trend, let's plot our resistance and support levels. Okay, so here I have my second resistance. First resistance and first support. So now let's bring out our Fibonacci levels. So remember, for retracement, we want to use these 5 levels. Okay. Okay, I think I'm going to place my first resistance in line with my 38.2. And my entry will be over here. So this will be my first support and my second support. Okay, so since price currently broke out of our ascending channel over here. So we have a bearish bias that price will continue to drop from our first resistance to our first support. So if price breaks our first support, then we have downside confirmation that And we will expect the bearish momentum to continue to our second support. Okay, are there any questions so far? Oh, good. Okay. Okay, let's continue with our fundamentals. So next we have the Japanese yen. Okay, so for the Japanese yen, there was no major news for today. And what can we expect? So the USDJPY rejected the 139.3 level as the DXY corrected lower. Price of the USDJPY could continue lower beyond the round number support of 138, reaching 137.7. However, as the overall sentiment of the yen is still dovish, look for the DXY to strengthen, which could signal a potential rebound from the 137.7 level. For central bank notes, kept all policy settings unchanged at the June meeting and reiterated that rates will stay low for the foreseeable future and won't hesitate to add stimulus if the economy needs it. Next meeting will be on 21st July 2022, and our next 24 hours is weak bearish. Okay, let's begin with our JPY USD charts. USD JPY, sorry. Okay. So I have my USD JPY charts prepared already. Let me just open my document. Okay, so we can see over here I have my stochastic indicator. So we can see that price is reversing off of this level and it's going downwards. So because of this, we have a bearish bias that price will continue to drop from our entry. So once price breaks our first support at our entry level, then we have downside confirmation and we will expect bearish momentum to continue to bring price to this level or take profit, which is a key level and also the overlap support because if you take a look, it touches two swing highs and a swing low. So price has tested this level a couple of times in the past. So it's likely to come down to touch this level again. Okay, if you guys want me to go through anything more in depth, feel free to let me know in the chat. But if not, I will just skim through it because we have a lot of currencies to go through. Okay, let's continue with our fundamentals. Okay, next we have gold. Okay, so for gold, there were no major news events. And what can we expect from gold today? So on Friday, gold set above the 1700 support level as the DXY retraced. Price found some upside early in the trading session, currently trading just below the 1716 resistance level. Look for price to test but hold under the resistance level. Next 24 hours bias is weak bullish. Okay, so if we take a look over here, we can see there is a general downtrend for gold and also a trend line over here. So we have a bear, since price is also moving below the Ichimoku cloud, so we have a bearish bias that price is likely to drop. But we can see, let me zoom in, that price has broken this intermediary resistance level. So it gives us upside confirmation that price is likely to rise to our first resistance. So if it breaks our first resistance, it's likely to rise to our second resistance again. So in this case, our take profit would be here. But we will only go in for the trade once price has broken our first resistance. Okay, let's continue. So next we have the euro dollar. So there were no major news events for euro dollar, and what can we expect? So the euro dollar traded higher strongly after testing the parity price level, with the price now trading above 1.010. With no major news events due today for the Eurozone and an ECB rate hike on the horizon this week, the first since 2011, sentiment on the euro could be hawkish. Look for further upside potential on the euro dollar, with price trading higher to test the next resistance level of 1.0185 before a possible correction lower could be likely. For central bank notes, plans to phase out the APP into the third quarter remained intact by reducing purchases from 40 billion to 30 billion in May and then down to 20 in June. Highlighted risk of the economic outlook are tilted to the downside and have recently intensified with geopolitical and virus-related challenges. Expected to raise rates by 25 basis points after APP ends in July and 50 basis points in September. Next meeting will be on 21st July 2022. And our next 24 hours bias is medium bullish. Okay, let's take a look at our euro dollar charts. Okay, let me just rename this so that it's more clear. Stop loss would be at the bottom. Okay, so over here we can see there is a general downtrend, right? But price recently broke our descending trend line, which gives us a bullish bias that price will rise. On our stochastic, we can also see that there is a bullish divergence with price having a lower low compared to stochastic. Let me just highlight the levels for you. Like this. So you can see that there is bullish pressure over here. So price is likely to rise, and it did. And we expect price to continue to rise to our take profit, which is also in line with our 38.2% Fibonacci retracement. Okay, are there any questions so far? Okay, if not, let's continue with our fundamentals. So next we have Swiss franc. So there was no major news events for Swiss franc, and what can we expect? So the dollar franc reversed from 0.9850 resistance on Friday due to the weakness in the DXY and the rebound of the euro. Look for a possible continuation of this downward move if the dollar franc is able to break below 0.974 with support levels of 0.97 and 0.9640 as the next price targets. For our central bank notes, surprise rate hike by 50 basis points to negative 0.25%. And the next meeting will be on 22nd September. Next 24 hours bias is medium bullish. Okay, let's take a look at our dollar franc charts. Okay, let's go ahead and do this on the spot. Okay, so let's plot our support and resistance lines first. So my first resistance will be here. Second resistance at the nearest swing high. And first support, perhaps here. So you can see that price is generally moving downwards, because we can see price has a double top pattern. So we have a bearish bias that price will drop from this level. So let's pull out our Fibonacci retracement. So I can actually put my entry over here to make it a pullback resistance. Okay, let me clear the other levels. So we don't want our stop loss to be too far from our pivot. So this is our stop loss, maybe over here. This is my sell entry and this is my take profit. Okay, so now that we have all of our levels as well as our Fibonacci level, we can go ahead and pull out some indicators. So we like to use the Ichimoku because at one glance, we know whether it gives us a bearish or bullish bias. But in this case, since price is moving within the Ichimoku cloud, so we cannot conclude any momentum. So we'll get rid of that. Next, we use our MACD. So MACD does support our bearish bias since price is showing a bearish momentum. So we can keep that. RSI. Okay, so on RSI, we can see an ascending trend line. So since it shows an ascending trend line, it doesn't support our bearish bias since we think price is going to drop. So you can remove that as well. Okay, are there any questions? No questions. Okay, let's continue with our fundamentals. So our next currency would be the pound. So there were no major news events for the pound, and what can we expect? So the pound dollar is likely to continue trading higher as it corrects strongly from the 1.18 support level on Friday. With the price currently trading at 1.1930, look for further upside potential towards the key resistance level of 1.1970. However, as the UK economic data still paints a dovish performance, look for a potential reversal at the 1.1970 resistance level. For our central bank notes, rate hike by 25 basis points to 1.25%. Peak inflation revised to more than 10%, adding to the stagflation fears. Possible GDP contraction in 2023. Quantitative tightening plans to be updated at the August meeting, which will be held on 4th of August, 2022. And our next 24 hours bias is medium bullish. So now let's take a look at our pound charts. So you can definitely see a general downtrend for our charts. So here I have a descending trend channel with price recently breaking out of the descending trend channel. So this supports our bullish bias. So since price has broken out of my resistance, my next resistance could be over here. Since price has already reached this level, for our retracement, the next could be over here. Yeah. So it lines up nicely with my next first resistance, which is also in line with with the multiple swing high over here. Okay. So let's quickly continue with our fundamentals. So next we have Aussie dollar. So for Aussie dollar, there were no major news events, and what can we expect? So on the back of DXY weakness on Friday, the Aussie dollar found support at the key price level of 0.6710 and traded strongly towards the 0.68 price level. This move upward continued today due to stronger than expected New Zealand CPI data. If the price fails to break above the 0.68 resistance level, look for a possible retrace back down towards the 0.6710 support. For our central bank notes, possible 25 to 50 basis points rate hike. Next meeting will be on 2nd of August 2022, and our next 24 hours bias is weak bearish. Let me just check the chat. To see if there are any questions. Okay, so now let's take a look at our Aussie dollar charts. Okay, so we can see over here that price has broken our first resistance and is giving us upside confirmation that price will continue to rise to our second resistance, which is also in line with the 78.6% Fibonacci retracement. Sorry. Okay, so our resistance over here is an overlap resistance as well, which is a key level since it touches swing highs and swing lows. So we know that price has tested this level a few times in the past and is likely to test this level again. Price is also moving above our Ichimoku cloud, so it supports our bullish bias. Any questions? Let me take a look. Okay, no questions so far. So let's carry on with our fundamentals. So if you guys have any questions or any requests, you can feel free to pop them in the chat. So next we have Kiwi dollar. Okay, so for Kiwi dollar, key news events today was the New Zealand dollar CPI. So what can we expect from the Kiwi dollar today? So the CPI was released at 1.7%, forecasted 1.5% and a previous 1.8%, which indicated the highest inflation rate since 1990. This surprised markets as the recent interest rate hikes from the RBNZ failed to stem the inflation growth. A stronger than expected CPI data brought significant upside to the Kiwi dollar, with the price climbing towards the 0.62 resistance level. However, if the price is unable to break above the resistance level, look for potential retrace towards the downside. For our central bank notes, current cash rate stands at 2.5% following a 50 basis points rate hike in the July meeting, and expects near-term inflation to rise with lower economic activity. Next meeting will be on 17th August 2022. And the next 24 hours bias is weak bearish. Okay, now let's take a look at our Kiwi dollar charts. Just a second. Okay. So we can see over here, price is moving in a general downtrend. But price recently broke our descending trend channel, which gives us a bullish bias. So we'll only go in for this trade if price breaks our first resistance, which will give us an upside confirmation that price could rise to our second resistance over here. Okay. So we can see over here that price is also moving above the Ichimoku cloud. So it does support our bullish bias. Okay, so if there are no questions, let's continue with our fundamentals. So next we have the Canadian dollar. So there were no major news events for the Canadian dollar. The USD CAD currently trades below 1.30, continuing the reversal from last week, after the price tested the historic highs of 1.32. As the DXY continues to weaken, due to the strong upward correction from the euro dollar, the dollar CAD could continue lower. Look for further downside on the dollar CAD if price is able to close strongly below 1.30, with 1.2850 the next possible price target. For our central bank notes, increased rates by 100 basis points, taking interest rates to 2.50%. Indicated further rate increases likely. Next meeting will be on 7th September 2022, and the next 24 hours bias is medium bullish. Okay, now let's take a look at our dollar CAD charts. Okay, so we can see for our dollar CAD, it is in line with our fundamentals and our next 24 hours bias, which is medium bullish. So we can see price is moving in an ascending trend line over here. Just looking to see if we have any questions. Okay. Okay, no questions. So we have a bullish bias that price is likely to rise. So since our Ichimoku does not support our bias, we can get rid of that. Oops. Okay. So here we can see price is bouncing off of our ascending trend line. So if it continues to rise, if it continues to drop and break our ascending trend line, then it gives us downside confirmation that it will reach our second support. But if not, if it bounces off, then it's likely to rise to our intermediary resistance over here, which is a pullback resistance since it's in line with 3 multiple swing highs, and hence is a key level since price has tested this level many times. So if price breaks our intermediary resistance, it will then we have upside confirmation that price is likely to... What is happening? Okay, let me just refresh this page. What is going on? Okay. Oh, so sorry about that. I don't know what was going on with that. Let me just go back to our charts. Okay, here. So as I was saying, if price breaks this level, then we have upside confirmation that price will reach our take profit at our first resistance. Okay, let's move on to our last and final fundamental. Crude oil. So for oil, there was no major news events. And what can we expect from oil today? The near-term support level of Brent and WTI held through the DXY volatility on through the Friday trading session. Brent is now trading above 104 and WTI at 100, with further upside potential as markets consider the possibility of Saudi Arabia refusing to increase production levels to alleviate the current supply constraints. Look for Brent and WTI to trade higher, reaching resistance levels of 108 and 104 respectively. Next 24 hours bias is medium bullish. Okay, so here we have our oil charts. So if price moving below the Ichimoku cloud and also in a descending trend line, as you can see over here. Although, okay, let's take a look. So price has currently broken our descending trend line. So we can have a bullish bias if price manages to break through the resistance over here. At our first resistance, then it's likely, and we have upside confirmation that price is likely to reach our second resistance. But this is only if price manages to break through the resistance level at our first resistance, because over here we can see that there is a 100% Fibonacci projection and 61.8% Fibonacci retracement. So this is a confluence area that price is likely to reverse off of. But if price manages to break through this level, then we know that price is likely to reach our second resistance. If not, price will bounce off and reverse off of this level and reach our first support. Okay, let me just see if we have any questions. No. Okay. Let's continue. Okay, so that's the end of our fundamentals. So if you guys have any, we have about 7 minutes. So if you guys have any requests for any charts, any currencies, feel free to let me know in the chat. Or any of the charts that we went through that you want me to go in more in depth. Okay, I have a question. I haven't tried Forex trading. What currency pair would you recommend for a beginner, or does it matter which one you trade? Okay, which currency pair would you recommend for a beginner? If you haven't tried, you can perhaps start with a demo account first and then try trading with the majors. So most of those that we've mentioned today, so the majors like, okay, let me open my charts. Things like Aussie dollar, Kiwi dollar, pound. Yeah. So you can try practicing on those in the meantime. Once you get more familiar, then you can start with other currency pairs. But these are the majors that you can try out first. You might want to start with a demo account first though. Yeah, hope that helps. Okay, are there any more questions or any requests? Okay, if there are no more requests, then I think we can end off here. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. Hope you guys learned something or found it interesting. If you guys have any feedback or anything you want me to know, feel free to type it out in the chat. Yeah. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a great week ahead. Bye.